Hi everyone, and a warm welcome to today's session. My name is Man Soller and I'm going to be the host today. Today we have a very exciting session planned for you on a must-have addition to Salesforce CRM if you're working in complex sales. And we're going to have a very hands-on session today. Let us have a little bit of a look at the agenda right away. So we're going to start looking a little bit at the background of how Salesforce and CPQ can work together for a great user experience for complex selling. Then we will dive right into our demo part where we will look into Salesforce and Tacton CPQ for direct sales and Salesforce and Tacton CPQ for channel sales. And then, of course, we are going to round up our session with a Q&A session. And if you have some questions during the session, just put them in the Q&A panel so we can answer them later on. Let me introduce you to our speakers today. Our first speaker is Per Wolgast, who is a senior product and pricing manager at Tacton, and has 20 years of experience in pricing, business development, and product management. And he has worked in various roles in the manufacturing industry before, all focused on pricing, project management, and product management. After Per, we have the honor to have a really nice demo from Alex Boike, who is a senior sales engineer at Tacton. He has more than 10 years of experience in supporting manufacturing companies on their CPQ initiatives and has worked in various initiatives there with solutions and sales engineering. But I would say that we just have our first speaker, Per, take it away now. So Per, can you tell us a little bit about the background here?
Thank you very much, Maren. And basically, we know that we have many customers using Salesforce as their CRM. And our objective and this customer use case we have been looking at is to make sure that they have an efficient sales process using the Salesforce Sales Cloud and using Tacton's capable configuration capabilities. So we set out, we have had several integration, we have been doing integration for quite some time. And now we lately updated this integration with some new and nice features. So the objective we have is to make sure that salespeople or sales leaders with manufacturing having a Salesforce Sales Cloud and needs the capabilities to sell high variance products can do this in a smooth, intuitive, and seamless way with integration to Tacton. So I just want to highlight some of the key benefits with our integration to Salesforce. Of course, we have a single sign-on functionality for a smooth experience. The CPQ, as Alex will show you later in the demo, operates embedded in Salesforce, so the user feels it to be seamless and intuitive, and still keeping the full flexibility and capabilities of Tacton CPQ. We also have introduced additional possibility to adjust the CPQ user interface when running it through Salesforce. Possibility to work with alternative or adjusted workflows, panels, views, and the look and feel, and then of course the smooth data and secure data transfer. So drilling down a little on what we mean about flexibility, I want to highlight a couple of things. First one, of course, it can be used with Salesforce Sales Cloud, but as we will also demo, it can be used with other parts of Salesforce as well, like Salesforce Community, PRM, Experience Cloud. We can use different Salesforce objects. We are not tied into a specific object. We can use different standard objects, as well as, of course, standard or custom Salesforce objects if our customers would like that in their workflow. We have highly configurable workflows possibilities. Some parts can be done in Salesforce and other parts in Tacton CPQ, and it's up to the customer, each customer, to configure a workflow that works for them. We also have a possibility to configure the UI for a better look and feel, and to make sure that the things are in the right order, in the right place, and have a right look and feel. We also have the possibility for the user to access either via Salesforce or direct into Tacton CPQ by direct login, which can allow the user to have different UIs in that case. And it's possible also, of course, to log in and use direct login to Tacton CPQ for a user if they don't need to have access to the functionality that the Salesforce CRM is offering. For existing customers that are using Tacton's current or old integration, it is an easy transition. We are reusing a lot of the functionality that we had in the integration that we have. So just for existing customers, it might be good to know that if this new functionality that we are showing with embedded Tacton CPQ in Salesforce, it is part of the Salesforce integration asset that you already have if you are an existing customers, and we will not charge extra for this functionality. This new functionality will be the standard functionality for all new prospects that are coming into Tacton CPQ. If you want to learn more, and of course for existing customers, there are an extensive documentation in the Tacton CPQ admin, and possible to read more technical details on how to do it and what it can do. And of course, it's possible also to reach out to the customer success manager for support if you want support from Tacton, either on the technical side or want to look at some extensive demos. And of course, there is also information on the tacton.com. With videos and some flyers material. And for non-customers that don't have access to the CPQ, you can connect to your contact at Tacton for specific info when needed. With that, I will hand over to Alex, who is the main speaker on this show, to show what we actually can do, because as always, a demo is saying more than words.
All right. Thanks, Per. And hey, everybody. My name is Alex Boike, and I'll be going through today's demonstrations. We have two different demonstrations that we're going to be walking through today. The first one will be a day in the life of direct sales, going through the process of starting with an opportunity in Salesforce for an existing account, and then going through and creating a quote, configuring products, requesting pricing approval, all the way through submitting order. So first one, day in the life of direct sales, focusing in on Tacton CPQ integrated with Salesforce. And then the second demonstration that we'll walk through is going to be with Salesforce and Tacton CPQ for channel partners or indirect sales. And that one will be utilizing Salesforce Experience Cloud and showing a demonstration of how Tacton CPQ integrates with Salesforce Experience Cloud. Everything that we're going to be going through today, this is a live demonstration, and it is tied in with one of our standard demo environments, which is called Parker Lifts. And that demonstration, Parker Lifts, focuses in on elevator solutions. So that'll be the type of product that we'll be adding in to our quote today. So let's start out by going out to our Salesforce instance for Parker Lifts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out and log in to Salesforce as a sales rep in this case. And as we log into Salesforce, we're brought to our home dashboard. which we have a number of different reports and graphs that are available for us. I'll come back to this and show you how Tacton CPQ updates this information as we go through and generate quotes, so more to come on that. Next, what we'll do is we'll go to our accounts within Salesforce, and you can see that we have a handful of accounts that are available. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new opportunity for our Chicago Waterfront Hotel account, all within Salesforce. So let's go ahead and create a brand new opportunity. And we'll give this a name, and we'll call this Elevator for Chicago Summer 2022. We'll fill out some additional information, such as the stage, the close date, we'll set to the end of the month. And one thing to point out is that this information that we're filling out for the opportunity, as well as that account information for Chicago Waterfront Hotel, all of that information is going to be available within Tacton CPQ. So when it comes to being able to generate a proposal out of CPQ, or being able to have customer specific discounts, or any type of logic, whether it's configuration or pricing logic, all of that data from Salesforce across the account, opportunity, the contact, the quote, all of that can be leveraged within Tacton CPQ. So you don't have to rekey anything. All right, so we've created our brand new opportunity. What we'll do next for that opportunity is we're going to go ahead and create a quote. So as part of this integration with Parker Lifts and Tacton, what we're doing is we're utilizing the standard object structure from Salesforce, being the account to the opportunity. And then we're also utilizing the standard quote object from Salesforce as well. And this is something that you can choose not to use. You can integrate however you would like, whether it's directly to the opportunity, Tacton CPQ, or directly to the quote, or any other object, matter of fact, is all supported with our integration. But we'll go ahead and create a brand new quote for this. And let's go ahead and fill out some detail for the quote. So we'll just call this quote 1. And we'll go ahead and fill out some additional information. So all this, once again, will be leveraged within CPQ. So we'll just say Chicago main office. Go ahead and save that. Next, what we'll do is we'll go into the quote, and where Tacton CPQ ties into all of this is by simply pushing this button right on the screen where it says Tacton CPQ. So we'll go ahead and click that button. And what's going to happen is that we're going to be leveraging single sign-on from Salesforce to automatically authenticate and bring the user into an embedded experience of Tacton CPQ, all within Salesforce. So from a look and feel standpoint, it is a consolidated application, and the user has a seamless experience as they're going through opportunity management within Salesforce, all the way through quoting, configuring, and pricing, all within Tacton CPQ. So this is the Tacton CPQ application that we're looking at right now on the screen. And what you'll notice is that we are brought into the solution object, which would be a one-to-one mapping from the Tacton solution object to the Salesforce quote object. And what we can see is that we have the ability to go through all the different types of capability that you would have coming in through the direct portal of Tacton CPQ itself. That's also something that you can define what information and what type of capability is supported and available for CRM mode, which is what we're in now, versus coming in through the direct portal. Let's go ahead though, and let's add a product onto our solution at this point. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go to our product catalog, where we have configurable products as well as catalog items that are available. So being able to support all the different product types is something that Tacton does support, whether it's stock products, configurable products, as well as engineer to order. So we'll go into our elevator solution. This is our first product that we're going to be adding on to our quote at this point. And as part of this configuration, we do have visualization. There's a guided selling element based on the customer needs that's presented to the user first. We also have technical configuration that's available for this as well, and that allows you to fine-tune that configuration. But what we'll do for today's demo, since we're focusing in on Salesforce, is we'll just make a change setting the number of floors, and we'll take that default configuration, make one change, and then what we'll do for that is we'll keep the technical configuration as is for the default configuration, and then we'll add this back to the solution within Salesforce. I do want to point out that as part of this integration and as part of Tacton CPQ capabilities, we do support the different workflows that come into play in approval process, whether it's an engineer to order scenario. So if I have a customer request for this elevator, we do support different technical approvals where you can have collaborating users like engineering for technical approvals or a pricing manager for business approvals. They can all collaborate on the quote, but not have to have a Salesforce license to do so. So you can mix and match your different user types and how they interact with Tacton CPQ by having, for example, the sales reps go through and access CPQ from CRM mode, which is what we're doing now. And then other collaborating users collaborate on the quote coming directly into Tacton CPQ. And we'll show you an example of that coming up in just a moment. So let's go ahead and add this product to our quote, our solution at this point within Tacton CPQ. We'll go ahead and we'll add another product as well. And let's just take a catalog item at this point. So what we've done is we've added our two products to our solution, and what we'll do next is we'll go ahead and create a budgetary proposal within Tacton CPQ as well. And you can see that we have all of our different document templates. We'll go ahead and create a budgetary proposal, and we'll take a look at that as well once that gets created. But one thing to point out is that, once again, all that CRM information, the opportunity, the customer, the quote, there's no need to rekey any of that information. So when it comes to things like generating that proposal, we can see all the information from the CRM system is readily available in our output, along with all of the quote details consisting of our products, and as well as all the images from visualization, and then the details of what's been included as well, all available. Okay, so now that we've gone through and we've created our budgetary proposal, what we're going to do next is we're going to actually sync this to Salesforce at this point. So there's two ways that can be done. One, by going through and pushing the save button on the top right, which is what was just done. And what that's doing is that's pushing all of that detail back into Salesforce to the quote object. Also, the other way that this can be done is by going through our different solution transitions, where we can automate the process of pushing that data to Salesforce as well. What that looks like in Salesforce, if we go back to our quote and look at the related object, related list for it, we can see that we have our quote line items within Salesforce. We also have our budgetary proposal that's been added as well. And if we were to go ahead and look at some of the different reports that are generated from Salesforce, we're now able to see that data is all available within Salesforce. And if we scroll down, we'll be able to see that opportunity that was created. So when it comes to things like forecasting and reporting, all within Salesforce, all of that data is coming from Tacton CPQ. And in this case, we're able to leverage standard reports and dashboards from Salesforce to accurately predict what your forecast is. Same thing goes with the home dashboard as well, where you can see if I go ahead and refresh my home dashboard, that's been updated. We have our quote with our two products that have been added as well, and our pricing that goes for them. So all that's going to be available within all of your reports and dashboards for a forecasting purpose. Getting back to our opportunity and our quote that we just created. So what we're going to do next in the process is we've gone through and we've created that budgetary proposal very quickly with the two products in there. And what we'll do next is we're going to transition this through the process where we can make that ready for a budgetary estimate. This demonstration and with many of our customers are integrated in with an ERP system. In this particular demo, it is fully integrated with SAP. So being able to get our available to promise date for this quote from SAP. So that's something that we kicked off that process, and momentarily we'll be able to see that date. But what we'll do next is we'll go through a scenario where we've sent out the budgetary estimate to the customer. We're ready to start that pre-installation project. But before we're ready to make this available for a firm quote, we're going to go through a price negotiation scenario where, let's say that as you're working with your customer, let's say that they're requesting a discount for the solution so that way you can close it within this quarter. So let's go ahead and walk through a scenario where we're going to update the pricing for this solution. And as we open up our solution pricing, what you'll notice is that we have our 2 products that are available, and we have a variety of ways that we can manipulate the pricing for this overall quote. One would be by setting the discount percent, others by setting target pricing, margin, etc. So Tacton is very flexible when it comes to price negotiations and the different mechanisms that you can use to negotiate and adjust the price. We'll go ahead and let's say we're going to specify a 30% discount across the board for the entire quote. As we go ahead and save this, what you'll notice is that a business approval is required in this case. And what we'll do next is we'll actually send this out for approval, and we'll put in a comment. So all of this is going to be tracked within the application as well. So we'll go ahead and send that out. And what's going to happen is there's going to be an email notification that will get sent over to the sales manager in this case. And the sales manager will be able to collaborate on this quote that was started from Salesforce. So I'll go ahead and open up a new window. And what we're going to do next is there was an email that was sent out to the sales manager. So they could have gone into their portal, which is what I'm going to do now. And or what they could have done is there would have been a hyperlink that would be provided within an email. So we'll go ahead and sign in. And what you can see is that we have a dashboard that's available. So I'm logging in as that sales manager directly into Tacton CPQ. And we can see that there's been a business approval that's been requested by the sales rep, which is what we just sent through. So as we look at this request, what you'll notice is that I'm viewing this same solution that I have a hyperlink to that was initiated from Salesforce. So now I'm able to collaborate as the sales manager. I could actually come in if I had the right privileges and adjust configurations, adjust pricing, go through it, and any of the same functionality that was available for the sales rep. All of that is going to be fully tied together. So any changes, if I were to make in as a sales manager right now coming in through the direct portal, that would be impacted and directly impacted for the sales rep as well. So they would see all those changes that are made. So I can come in, view any details about the request. I may have additional information provided to me as a sales manager, but ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to start the work for this, and we'll ultimately approve that request, which then what would happen is there would be a notification that would get sent back to the seller that this has been approved. So we'll go ahead and switch back. So as we look at this same opportunity now in the lens of the sales rep, getting back to the other window, we can see that the business approval, which was assigned to Jane Cook, that's just been approved a few minutes ago. So all of that is available for the user to be able to see the history of those different approvals. So now at this point in time, what we'll do is we'll go through and we're going to generate a firm proposal at this point, which is going to reflect the discount. So we'll generate our document. We can put labels on there as well to indicate that it's a firm proposal. So we'll go ahead and generate that document. And then once again, what we're going to do is we're going to save this. And what you'll notice in Salesforce now, you can see that price that's been dropped. And now, along with the stage that you probably want to reflect within Salesforce as well, this information is now going to accurately reflect what the new price is all within Salesforce. So momentarily, as this saves all of the information back to Salesforce itself, as we go review the related objects, all of that is going to have that latest pricing information that's available for it, all directly coming from Tacton CPQ. Once again, to point out, as far as that integration and how that works, that is fully flexible. So if I go look at the related list again, we'll be able to see that we have our new proposal that's been generated. We have our products that have been added as well. But as far as how that integration occurs, whether you want to update additional fields as part of that process, once you get further on down the stages, you can definitely do that. Okay, back to Tacton CPQ. And what we'll do in this case is we're going to go back into the quote and we'll just finish out the overall process by going through and generating an order within Tacton CPQ. That's the timed out again. Okay, so now we'll get back into Tacton CPQ. And for that quote, what we'll do next is then we'll go through and we'll finish out the overall process by making this ready for a firm quote. So that's where we can go through the rest of the solution stages, and we'll fast track this as part of the demo. Well, we'll go through and do a firm quote sent. We'll make this ready for final agreements, and then fast tracking this all the way to the end as we go through and create the order. What's happening now is that we have an integration once again with SAP, where we're pushing all of that quote detail with that new net price that came from our discount approval. All of that's going to be made available as part of that ERP integration. And this just takes a moment to establish that order all within SAP. So the other things to point out as part of this, when we look at some of the other functionality that is supported, CAD automation, all of those types of capabilities, that is all fully supported within the CRM mode as well. So I did just want to point that out. But that is the overall process for direct sales, from starting with an opportunity, going through creating that budgetary request and proposal, and then all the way through creating that firm proposal with a negotiated price, and then submitting an order to your back-end ERP system. So that concludes the first demonstration for a day in the life of direct sales. And then as we move over to the second demonstration, what we'll do next is we'll give a brief demonstration of how Tacton CPQ integrates with Salesforce Experience Cloud. So this would be intended for your channel sales to be able to leverage Tacton CPQ as they go through and create their different opportunities. So what I'll do now is I'm going to log in as a partner into Salesforce Experience Cloud. And we're going to be using that same Parker Lifts environment that we just looked at before. So with that, we're brought into Experience Cloud, where I have a dashboard that's available to me as a partner. And what I can do at this point is I can come up to the top and I can go to my deals, which this would be equivalent to an opportunity. And with these deals, what I'm now able to do is create a brand new opportunity or deal. And we'll give this a name, and we'll just go right down the op 8. Give our opportunity a name. We'll pick our account. We'll pick our stage. And then we'll pick our close date to the end of the month as well. So we'll go ahead and save that. And then as we get into our related list, what we'll do next is, once again, we'll add a quote. And this structure and how it's set up, it can vary between your direct sales integration with CPQ as well as for your channel sales. So you can actually map different fields and different objects, whether you're coming in from Experience Cloud versus coming in through directly into Salesforce as a direct sales user. But we'll go ahead and create a quote. And go ahead and fill out some information about the quote. And then at this point, what we'll do is, just like we did before, is we're going to leverage and launch Tacton CPQ by utilizing single sign-on from Salesforce. So I can authenticate utilizing those credentials from Salesforce, so I don't have to put in my information. And I'm brought in to Tacton CPQ. And one of the things that you'll notice right out of the gate is that some of the tabs across the top within Tacton CPQ are not available for the channel user or the partner user in this case. And that's because we have settings in place that, depending on who you are, we can enable different views and different functionality for those different types of users. So for the channel partners, what you'll notice is that the approvals tab is not available. Also, the CAD automation tab is not available as well, but that's all fully configurable as far as what you want to do there. But then we'll come in, same type of product catalog that we have before. So we'll go ahead and add our configurable product. And as we look at our configurable product, what we'll do in this case is we'll take the default configuration for this product, and then we'll add that back to our solution within Tacton CPQ. So let's go ahead and make that save. And we can review things. So we'll go ahead and save that. And then as that saves, we can also come in and start adding additional products to our quote or our solution. But what we'll do next is we'll just create a budgetary proposal once again for that product. So we'll go ahead and preview the document, which is creating that budgetary proposal. And then what will happen at this point is we can then come in and we can save this, which once again is going to update Salesforce with all that information coming from Tacton CPQ, so all that product information, and you'll see your totals getting updated as well with our product. And then we also have our quote PDF that's now available as well. Same type of thing that we saw before when it comes to reporting and dashboards and forecasting within Salesforce. If we look at this forecasting report that is specific to this partner, you can see that we have our brand new opportunity, that Partner Op 8 that was just created, and all of that's going to be reflected in your forecasting and other dashboards and reports within Salesforce as well. But that's where what we'll do next is we'll open this up for Q&A, and I'll leave these different windows open if we want to refer back to any part of the demonstration. But as far as ending the process out for the partner user, it would be a similar type process that we just saw before, all the way going through and submitting an order. But that could vary too for those partner users, where maybe you need to get an approval from the direct channel as well. So with that, I'll leave the demos open, and we can open it up for any questions.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks a lot, Alex. That was extremely well-led videos demonstration. I think we have seen lots of interesting things there, which of course then also opens up room for some interesting questions. And if I look at the ones that I have received here in my panel, the first one I can take, because that is very easy. So someone asked if we are going to share the webinar recording, and that is, we are going to do this. So you will all receive an email. And then I have an interesting one, which is, what if I'm not using the quote object in Salesforce?
Yep. So if you're not using the quote object within Salesforce, you can tie Tacton CPQ directly to the opportunity object, but there is no limitations as far as which objects you can tie to. It's very flexible that you can tie Tacton CPQ to literally any object that exists. But another common scenario, if you're not using the quote object, would be to utilize the opportunity object and tie Tacton CPQ directly to that.
Okay, great. Then I have another one here, and that's a longer one. So if I have technical approvers or other collaborating users, how do they collaborate on the quote?
Yeah, so as part of Tacton CPQ, we walked through a scenario where direct sales had created our quote within Tacton CPQ coming in from Salesforce, but you can also have additional collaborating users such as engineering, different pricing managers, application engineers that you may want to have collaborate on the quote, whether it's through custom engineering requests or pricing approvals, and they can access that quote by going directly through Tacton CPQ and have all the same functionality that the person coming from CRM mode would have, and it could be even more, as a matter of fact. The difference though is that in those scenarios where you come directly to CPQ, you don't have to purchase a Salesforce license to be able to access all the features and functionality from Tacton CPQ.
Okay. And then I have another one, a second, that is related to the user types, and that is if you can elaborate on the different UIs for different user types a bit.
Yep. So as part of the functionality with the Salesforce integration, a couple things to mention is that, well, first off, the user interface, you can change that, all the look and feel of it from a branding and color scheme for Tacton CPQ itself. And then in addition, depending on if you're in CRM mode versus going through the direct portal, there's settings that can define what you can see when you're coming in through each mode. And then also on top of that, you can define what different types of users can or cannot see within CPQ itself. So in this example, we had direct sales able to see all those different tabs across the top, whether it was CAD automation, approvals when they were coming in from CRM. But when we looked at the channel sales, they could only see the products and pricing and approvals tab within Tacton CPQ. So that was a rule based on who those users were and what they could see.
Okay. Good. And then we have another one here, and that is, does this work with other CRMs as well?
So maybe I can take that one. We have this integration as it looks like for Salesforce is a Salesforce specific integration that we have built. We are, of course, having standards in integration to other CRMs. We have to Microsoft Dynamics. We have in our roadmap to build similar functionalities to other CRMs as well as we have done here. But I mean, we have that integration already as well. So the flexibility with this is quite high. So it's the base work is done, I would say. But if someone has a specific need for a specific CRM, reach out to us and we will look at that.
Great. I think that answers it pretty well. And then I have something that is related to the flexibility that is a little bit more general. And that is saying, how flexible is the setup? I think that is probably a question that you can answer in many different directions.
Yeah, as far as how flexible is the setup, so Tacton CPQ, when it comes to integration, we're able to integrate with all the different standard objects, custom objects, standard fields, and custom fields from Salesforce. So it is extremely flexible as far as what data points and what objects you want to map to. What we had walked through today was utilizing the standard object structure from Salesforce with a number of custom fields that have been added to those standard objects within Salesforce. But it's definitely available and able to integrate with any type of custom object setup that you may have as part of your Salesforce instance.
And we could add to that, of course, that Tacton CPQ in itself is extremely flexible when it comes to panels and workflows, etc., with standard workflows as well as possibility to adjust that workflow, adding like approvals or not, and different steps, and of course the full flexibility on price models and configuration UI as we have a standard. So we are not limiting really anything. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Alex, but we are using basically the full flexibility of CPQ or Tacton CPQ in a Salesforce environment.
That's right. Yep.
Okay. Let me see if I have anything else here. Well, there's, no, I think we have answered most of the questions. So Per and Alex, if there is one thing that you would say, this is the thing that you, I have one more coming in, sorry. I'll ask that one first. And that, is it possible to make changes in the code at a later stage?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So with, as we saw as part of that first demonstration too, when we went and did that budgetary proposal and we sent all of that back to Salesforce, you can absolutely go back into the quote as long as your permissions and the workflows that you've set up allow you to make further changes. But 100% yes. And as part of this demonstration, what we went through is creating that budgetary proposal, syncing it with Salesforce, and then furthering in the process, I need to go through and update pricing for those products too. But it very well could have been a scenario where you needed to change the product configuration, remove items, or add additional items as well. So yes.
Okay, and then I have a very long one. And that is, do you have any experience with build to forecast, where the order is sent to manufacturing in advance of the customer PO is being received and allowing for the configuration to be changed after the order has?
Yeah, so yeah, as far as different change order scenarios, yeah, that is a common practice that we see across our customer base as well, where once an order has been placed, there needs to be a change that's made to that product configuration. So the answer is yes, Tacton CPQ absolutely has experience with change orders, and it does vary slightly the overall process from customer to customer. And a lot of cases, what can be done in those scenarios is whether it's a new opportunity or an existing opportunity that has quote revisions that would go along with that. All that same type of capability is going to be supported, quote revisions, multiple quotes, all within the integration with Salesforce as well.
Okay, and then I have one last question. And we have more questions. We are going to follow up on those, so don't worry about that. And this is there a mechanism to synchronize the user sign-ons and customer accounts between Tacton and Salesforce? Last one.
So when it comes to the customer accounts, when we actually launched Tacton CPQ from Salesforce, what was happening is that account data was synchronizing to Tacton CPQ, from Salesforce to Tacton CPQ. And typically what we see is that the CRM system is the master of that account information, and that's leveraged and synced into Tacton CPQ. And when it comes to the user sign-on, so the way that we see this and the way that we synchronize the two together would be by some type of, whether it's the username itself or some type of attribute that would exist within that Salesforce username. But there is a linkage between the two, and that's how we're able to set up the single sign-on between the two users.
Great. And I can see that there's lots of interest and lots of questions. So what I want to point out at the end of this, of course, I want to thank you, Per and Alex, for great presentations and really great Q&A session as well. If there are more questions coming up, please don't hesitate to reach out to Tacton Marketing or to your Tacton contacts. You can reach us under marketing@tacton.com. And we will, of course, also follow up on the additional questions that we have received in the Q&A session.